What's up, nerds? So this normally I start a video and I've pretty much got worked out what I'm planning to do. This is going to be a more informal video. I've got like 2% of an idea of what I'm doing today. So stick with me, because this is either going to be surprisingly good or hilariously bad. What are you getting into? No, stay out of that. Stay out of that. Yeah, no. Okay, it's freezing out. It's kind of a lazy day. I brought Sputnik out here with me. For those of you who don't know, I recently adopted a stray cat who showed up outside my workshop. Hey, do your Edward G. Robinson impression. So he's hanging out here, and I'm learning that raising a cat is 50% charging cat toys and 50% yelling, "What are you eating? Don't eat that." Okay, some time ago, I decided I needed a good set of precision screwdrivers. So I got a big set of WIHA, I think that's how you pronounce it, WIHA screwdrivers. And I was gonna make a rack for them, a rack to put them in. But I didn't want to start that until I got all of them. I wanted to get all the ones available, but I couldn't just buy them all at once. So over time, I've been adding to them. These are I got nut drivers. I've got ball end hex. I got these, and even when you buy these sets, they don't include every size for some reason. So some of these I had to buy separately, like the Torx. They'll sell you a big package of Torx, except for the T20. I actually put together a spreadsheet of all the screwdrivers in this line that they had available, all the ones that I had and the ones that I didn't have. And in the time it took me to actually collect all of these, they discontinued a couple of sizes. So I've got everything but those and the Pentalobes, because I'm not working on any Apple products. And embarrassingly, they have just resided in this bin. So I want to make a nice rack. It's going to be a simple project. No gimmicks, no hooks, no twists at the end, probably. So I went and picked up myself some prototyping supplies, and I sketched a couple ideas out at Waffle House, and we're just going to see what happens. Ah! Every time. You know, I was a little concerned about using foam core for this, but I think this is going to work great. This one is just to try to figure out like hole size and hole spacing, that kind of thing. But basically, I mean, it's still basically where I'm headed, I think. Maybe. Let's see where it goes. I've divided up all of my screwdrivers into their respective kinds so that I could count them up. Hey, oh, hello. Oh, you're very helpful. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Think you can make it? Hey, you thought better of it? Okay. This video is going to 1 to 10 or it's going to 10 to 10. There's a lot more of these slotted ones than I thought there would be. Some of these get super tiny. That's not even the smallest one. And I think somebody has been borrowing these because there's schmutz on this one, and I do not recognize the schmutz. All right, so I just want to populate this and see what I'm dealing with. So I've got slotted Phillips, Torx, Hex, metric, imperial. Yeah, and a couple of these, I have two because it's the same. It's 2 millimeters and 5/64. They're both labeled. It's the same screwdriver, but one can be metric and one can be imperial. All right, now I got some things mixed up here. I'm gonna have to go back and sort this, but it's the holes are definitely too close to each other. Ball end hex, imperial, and metric. Do I really need hex and ball end hex? I don't know. But I got them. And nut drivers. Oh. Gotta be careful of that. That barely fits. Okay. That is a lot of screwdrivers. I can't believe that's holding up. All right, so first thing I have to address is I'm missing a hole, and also there's a couple of repeats in here that I forgot about. So I've got to recount these, and I definitely need to change the spacing on the holes. I'm learning there's 3 different sizes of handle in this, but I don't know, the hole size seems to work for all 3 of them, but the bigger ones are all colliding together. Okay, so, all right, so second iteration. And all I'm really doing is sketching up objects in Illustrator and then importing those straight into Lightburn. So there's something I've noticed about a lot of the makers that I know. They all really seem to enjoy cooking, which makes sense because you've got your materials, you've got your specialized tools, you get to create something. One time, Rob Rojas and I made a beans and weenies pizza, and it was good. I think we're onto something here. Otherwise, me, for some reason, I have never been passionate about cooking. It was never something that really appealed to me. I eat out a little too much. But HelloFresh asked to send me a few of their meals to cook at home, and I thought, why not? I'll give it a try. And I love it. I get a box delivered right to my door, filled with all the ingredients that I need. I provide things like salt and cooking oil. Otherwise, everything I need is in the box, fresh, labeled, and pre-portioned. And all the preparation steps are spelled out on a card with photos. Turns out, the only thing I didn't like about cooking was finding the recipes and shopping for all the ingredients. With HelloFresh, you can select from 50 plus dinner options right from their website. You can customize your plan from week to week, select how many meals you want, choose from a variety of categories, including calorie smart and protein smart recipes, and even put deliveries on pause if your schedule changes. Last night, I made a curried roasted chickpea bowl with chicken, and I spent this evening making Santa Fe pork tacos with coleslaw. Oh, that's good. If you'd like to help support this channel, sign up for America's #1 meal kit. Click the link in the description or use my code to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while the subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Turns out I'm actually a good cook. Laser cutting foam core can be kind of tricky because the foam melts back. So you don't get a perfect cut, but ow! Every single time. Why is that set on high? That should be on low. I'd be surprised if I don't get a blister there. Gotta hit the button for that. You know, I'm realizing this video is probably gonna have a real tested.com one-day build vibe. Which is funny because I've had an odd number of people in my comments the last couple of months telling me that I remind them of Adam Savage, which is flattering, but how come I always got to be like Temu Adam Savage or Dollar Tree Adam Savage? You don't have to qualify it. One guy seemed genuinely upset, like I was deliberately stealing his demeanor. Before that, I was getting a ton of comments from people saying I looked and sounded exactly like Red Green. I didn't realize I had a raspy, mumbly Canadian accent. Oh. Okay. All right, yeah, that spacing is much better, but this is a much larger footprint than before. I do feel like there's quite a bit of wasted real estate here though, although I'm not sure there's much I can do about that because the slotted and the metric nut drivers, there's more of these than anything else. So I don't know, maybe I can put something here? I don't know. I'm not promising this is good. I'm gonna end up with the final version here. So if you guys have ideas at the end of this, let me know. You know, this is gonna bug, I'm gonna have to order a new one of these because this one is a noticeably darker red than all of the other ones. These came all in the same set. No, I'm not really gonna replace it. I'm just going to let it quietly annoy me for the rest of my life. All right, I've been sitting here staring at this for several minutes now, just trying to figure out what my next step will be because this is pretty close. I mean, I'm already pretty close to this. I think it's quite a bit larger than the first iteration, but I mean the spacing is good. I think the spacing is good. I can comfortably reach in between here and grab whichever one I need. For those sets that have imperial and metric, I've got imperial on the left and then metric on the right. So I've divided it up like that and then grouped them together, which I think works pretty well. One thing I think I would like to add is labels for the sizes. That way I can quickly identify, you know, which size I want to grab here, but that would involve, see, I'd have to like do this. I'd have to like put the labels next to them in between. But I'd have to space all of these out a lot more, I think. I thought about making little labels I could stick on the tops of these, but they're concave. That wouldn't stick very well. I guess I could write them in like a white marker, but they're all gonna end up twisted, upside down, sideways. I don't know if that would be much better. they changed the labels on these a couple of years ago. This is one of the old ones. Look at this. Look at this. This is one of the old labels. Nice, big, readable. This is one of the new labels. That's the new version. Who decided this was an improvement? This had to be a cost-cutting measure. They're probably saving thousands in ink. But this is absolutely unreadable. I could put the sizes, I don't know, fairly small, like in front of each of these, but I wouldn't be able to read it unless it's like this. Although, oh, wait a minute. That's, yeah, I could read labels like that. I actually like this. Having this at an angle, having it like this, and that would cut down on my footprint too. It takes up less depth this way. I really like that. I think that's going to be the next iteration. 5 3/4, 2.5. No idea how sturdy this is going to be, but that's why we make a prototype. This video, I was concerned. I was worried going into this. I'm a little concerned about this video because I'm making a simple rack. I'm making a simple screwdriver rack. There's no theme. It's not like in the style of Battlestar Galactica or anything. There's no hook. There's no gimmick. And that's the thing about trying to make a living off of YouTube. You got to do something that nobody else has done. You got to be. I mean, it's easy to fall into this trap of being sensational. But I mean, the reality is you got to get people to watch the video. I mean, the video can be, you can make a great video, but if nobody's clicking on the thumbnail and starts watching the video in the first place, you don't get views, and if you don't get views, you don't get paid. Believe me, I hate clickbait as much as the next guy. I try to avoid being clickbaity, but you do have to get, there's so much content on here, you gotta get people to click on your thumbnail. So you gotta have some kind of hook. I mean, I believe my most successful video, or at least one of my most successful videos, well, it was this. That was the thumbnail for it. I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate about what the video was about. But it clearly made people curious. You know, it was basically like most of my other videos. But you know, it's the thumbnail that gets people to click play. Most of the time, I'm not that great at coming up with a thumbnail like that. I don't know, my brain just doesn't work like that. And honestly, I'm kind of burned out on it. I'm kind of burned out on the trying to come up with the hook. It can be exhausting. Because the thumbnail is the make or break for you know, paying my rent. So for this video, I just wanted to identify a problem and solve that problem. So, I mean, maybe that's what the thumbnail is going to end up being. Just solve the problem. Just do the thing. Just make the thing. Although it's probably still going to end up being like, what? How many holes do I need for screwing? The answer, by the way, is 75. Now, I have identified a new problem with these nut drivers. Yeah, they get caught when you pull them out of the hole. But I don't think that's going to be a really difficult problem to solve. If I just like round over or chamfer the underside of these holes, it should just slide right out instead of catching on a you know, sharp edge. I hope. I put this on like, I think it's like about a 50-degree angle, which is great. I can see the tops of this. It's not nearly as deep as it was before. That's also partially because I split the slotted screwdrivers into 2 columns, and I split the nut drivers into 3 columns. And I like this. And I've got a lot less real estate here that's wasted. And I may end up finding some reason to use this area. Again, if you guys have ideas, something related to, you know, precision screwing, what I could put up here, yeah, let me know. Give me some ideas. All right, I feel like this is just about ready for the final version. There's a couple of things. I wouldn't mind a handle. I wouldn't mind a way to transport this, you know, just like a handle, like here. That's not going to work. Or I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm probably overthinking it. But there is one thing I want to determine before I commit, and that's if with this spacing, if I can get labels in here that are easy to read. Yeah. I just spent way too much time designing this. But I just want to see how this looks in situ. Now the problem with this foam I've discovered is that it kind of grabs these handles however I put them in, so they don't like settle all parallel. Yeah, see what I mean? So hopefully, I don't know, I got to see how it acts when I make this out of wood. But that, I'm not sure how that looks on camera, but I can see that. That works pretty well in person, actually. Just move them all up a little bit. I think that'll work great. All right, let's make the final version. So I was going to take this over to the router table next and run a round over on the undersides of all of these holes, which would hopefully fix the issue of the nut drivers getting caught on the underside when I was pulling them out. But before I pulled it up, I thought, you know what, I think I'll just run a nice little chamfer on the fronts just to make it a little nicer. And then I realized I could just do that on the back too. I just have to be sure I line it up correctly. And the great thing about using a 90-degree V-bit, however wide I want the chamfer, that's exactly how deep I go. Because right triangle. Geometry nerds unite! All right, sometimes things just go sideways. I don't know what happened. Excuse me. Okay, these holes are great. They work great. These holes are too small. I'm lucky I grabbed the largest nut driver to test this. Otherwise, I would have just kept going. These holes came off the same file, but they were not being cut to the correct size on the robot. My robot went crazy. So much cursing and troubleshooting and resetting Gerbil settings later, I got it. It worked. I had to redo it. I redid it. They are the correct size now. I redid the chamfers on the back too. I realized, as someone was probably typing in the comments, I didn't need these on all of the holes, just on the ones for the nut drivers. But also, having tested these with one of the smaller ones, I realized this, the 45 degrees, it still gets caught sometimes. So I switched to a 60-degree bit, and the steeper angle works every time now.
Stop it.
So one good thing came out of this. Let's just hope that the robots have not banded together to revolt and that the laser is going to work correctly. Wait, whoa. Oh. What happened? The robots are conspiring. Oh, can I sand that off? I'm gonna try to sand that off. Do a simple project this time. Take it easy on yourself, I said. All right, whatever happens from here on out, I'm just gonna let happen. All right, now, what's next? Good morning, nerds. So this project was intended to be a one-day build, but it went a little pear-shaped. I don't know what that phrase means exactly, but I like it. Thanks to the robot revolution, I've gone beyond my allotted time for this project. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what happened with Sputnik, he was out here for about 10 minutes and then wanted to go inside where his toys were. The labels turned out all right. They're still not quite aligned the way that they're supposed to be, but I'm really the only one who can tell. I don't know what happened with the robots, with the hole sizing and the alignment and everything. I don't know. I can go back and figure that out later. David Picciuto recently did a video on knowing when to quit. My intention, of course, is not to piggyback on David's video, but his came at the right time. I had planned to make the legs for this by cutting a couple of rings out of this pipe and then welding on a couple pieces of 1/2-inch bar, making it look like this was kind of balancing on 2 circles. But I have to realize this project is not that important. They don't all have to be clever. I don't need to complicate things just to make the video more sensational. I just need a simple rack. So I sketched up a couple of pieces based on my original prototype. I quickly cut them out on a now compliant robot, and there. It's simple and it does the job I need it to do. And I can tuck away the ring idea for another project. In his video, David spoke about the sunk cost fallacy and allowing yourself to quit when you're no longer having fun. He is much more eloquent about it than I could be. He's very good at that. You should watch the video, link below. The best way that I can put it is you're allowed to do less than your absolute best. It's okay to stop, just get the thing done and say, screw it all. And I just realized I'm ending on a pun and I hate myself.